What is going on, gentlemen? This is Sir Yeetus. This is episode 104 of Yeetus Thoughts. And today's topic is going to be it's all about what she wants. It's never about what you want. And I'm sure you as a man, you guys probably realize that anytime that you say like, hey, what's going on? Like, what do you want in a man? What do you want in a man? What's going on? A woman will always describe a man in servitude. I'm talking about modern women today. She wants a man that's under her thumb, under her heel, to do whatever she pleases. And whenever she's done with you, she's going to toss you to the side. Nobody wants to really talk about that today. Nobody whatsoever. Because they're too afraid to expose the truth in the event that they'll be canceled. But that's why your boy Sir Yeetus is here. That's why your boy Sir Yeetus is willing to expose the BS. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure you guys already know about the BS. But your boy Sir Yeetus is able to say, hey, the audacity of modern women to proclaim or demand all these things from a man, but all she has to offer in return is to open her legs. Ain't that some shit, gentlemen? It is so insane. At this point, I don't think it's a joke anymore. It's not a joke whatsoever. There's women out there that's average or below average. And hell, I'm gonna add above average as well, that think that just because they lay on their back like a starfish, that they can get everything that could be offered to them, which is true. If they're still attractive, I'm sure there's a shit ton of simps that they're gonna be willing. Oh no, don't worry, Queen. I'll give you money, blah blah blah. But you need to understand that there's plenty of women out there, especially women that didn't take relationships seriously, women that decided to go to the adult industry, and women that believe that they are able to hold a human resources job and think that they don't need a man. And then once they hit their 30s or 40s, oh my God, where did all the good men gone? Where they go? Oh my God, what happened? See, I'm sure you guys saw my not live stream. You guys saw my meme from a few days ago. Why would I feel upset about a woman that had plenty of options as soon as she hit 18? Why would I feel bad about a woman that had plenty of options instead of choosing a choosing a man that was within her means? She was aiming for the most delusional man to the point where that man doesn't even exist. She's chasing a man that doesn't even exist. You guys need to understand, in today's dating market, it is pointless. It is pointless at this point. I really don't see why a man will be even trying to go and try Tinder and Plenty of Fish and Meet Me and all that stuff. You already know that site is full of rejects. I'm talking about women. Yeah, there's women rejects. Oh shit. There is a bunch of rejects that has the most absurd standards of them all. You guys, you guys need to understand. Okay, you guys need to understand. There are plenty of scenarios where today's women they give up their puditi for free just because that man looks good, or they might need something such as baby diapers, some devil's lettuce, if you guys know what I'm talking about, or just some food. Yeah, yeah, that is plenty of women today. Plenty. But unfortunately, a lot of our brooders, they tend to fall for that same old Venus trap. Yes, I call the puniti a Venus trap because a lot of you men, you need to comprehend and understand. Women, they cannot force us men to do whatever they want us to do. They cannot physically force us to do things that they want us to do. So, what is the next best thing? Manipulation. They're going to manipulate the hell out of you. They're going to gaslight you. They're going to say the most craziest stuff to the point where you're going to question your own sanity. I saw it myself. I dealt with it myself. And tomorrow's stream, I'm definitely going to be showing you between the conversation of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard of how she was gaslighting the hell of that dude. It was very bad. Amber Heard was gaslighting the hell out of Johnny Depp, calling him, "Oh, you're Johnny Depp. No one's gonna believe you. Oh, you just being a big baby. Grow up." See, gentlemen, it's not the fact that it's not just the fact that she put his hands on him. It's the fact that intended, she purposely wanted to put her hands on her husband. So, with that example today, once again, why would men want to get married at this point? Why? And thanks to Lionel MGTOW, thanks for reminding me. She deserves a padded room. I'm pretty sure that the psychologist that she saw said that she had bipolar disorder. Oh, see, he was already there. Bam. Oh shit. Um, and based on what's happening today, see, I know that Johnny Depp, he isn't really, making it too big of a deal when it comes to trying to win the case. He's only doing this because he wants to say his side of the story and clear his name. But right now, a lot of young women are looking up to what Amber Heard is doing. You guys need to recognize that. A lot of young women at this point, they're looking at it, oh, okay. So if I be a raging bitch, oh, that's okay in a relationship. Oh, okay. It's all good. And even if she's not a raging bitch, okay, eventually she's like, oh, okay, I'll be able to divorce his husband and I'll be able to do whatever I want. Okay, it's cool. It's all dandy. And just like what Lionel McTow always says, right? Uh give them nothing. That's the only thing that you can do at this point. Give them nothing. Because at this point, they're trying to get whatever they can from the XY chromosome. Why do you think that when MGTOW decided to become popular within the last couple years, MGTOW is labeled as extremist? Extremist, Just because a man wants to be alone. Just because. What happened to being strong and independent? I thought you want men to leave you alone. I thought you want men to go on their own. Why are you so upset that the man's like, okay, since you don't want to deal with me, all right, I'm just going to do my own thing? Why society is so upset that to the point where they're going to call MGTOW extremists? It is mind blowing. Mind blowing because they never bothered to ask, I wonder why these men are becoming quote unquote extremists. I wonder what these modern men truly want in a woman. But you know what? Who cares what the fuck the XY chromosome thinks? Because right now, we're trying to get these women to do whatever they can to marry men and then divorce them and then take all their money, spend their money, and put it back into the economy. Yes, Lion MGTOW. Yes, walking away from the plantation extremism. That just gives us way enough proof to the point where it's like, okay, you model women, they love to say, oh, I'm strong, independent. Men are obsolete. Men need to go to war and die. That's all they're good for. But when a man's like, you know what, I don't want to date anymore, the media calls you an extremist. How insane is that? How insane is that? Instead of women's like, you know what? Since we were raised by single mothers, we technically don't really know what a man wants. Let me ask a question to these men to see what they truly want. And that's what they want, so I can get some financial security, some protection, all that stuff. So be it. But no, no, modern women wants to have all these crazy demands and they don't have to do anything in return. That's their vision, that's their goal. It is so insane, it is not even funny. So insane. You know what? I'm gonna start inviting people right now because I think this is a serious convo. But before I continue, you already know I'm gonna do my thing. If you want to support Sir Yeetus or the Warband, go ahead and click on the link on top of the chat. PayPal.me/Sir Yeetus or Cash App Sir Yeetus, or you guys can use the super chat as well. Go ahead if you want to join right quick. Go ahead. I'm sending as many invites as possible because I think this is a great conversation that we need to have right now. Real talk, carry on.
What's going on, Brutus?
What is going on? Carry on. What's up?
I'm fine.
Okay, and I'm gonna add one more person. Brandon Trueblood. What's going on, man?
Good afternoon, your skeleton ship.
What's going on, man? But I'm gonna start with you, Brand Trueblood, and I'm gonna be right back because I am about to grab my food right quick. So, based on what I'm saying today, of women don't really care what men want. They never want to ask what men truly want, but they love to proclaim what a real man should be. Oh, a man should be this. A man should be that. A man, blah 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 blah. But they never try to learn. Like, you know what does a man truly want?
Well, I don't think they can learn. But my signal is really, really, really bad. So thank you for having me on. And as Lion of MGTOW says, he gives the best advice for all. Give them nothing.
Amen.
Peace out.
Peace out, Brandon. Well, I think Yeetus is coming back. Carry on.
So we own the stream. I'm not gonna shit talk Yeetus this time.
Hey, he's always listening, man. He's got that earpiece in like a glowy.
Wait, he has a glowing head. Yeetus is a glow dog. Oh my days. He's a fed. Oh no, we've been infiltrated. But yeah, if we're gonna be serious, I have never met. Yeah, I've never met a woman that cares about what men really want most of the time. Like, I've heard them online, but besides that, nothing else.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you. Guess we'll wait back for the Skeleton King to make it back on. I think it has a lot to do with their solipsistic nature. That's kind of what they're rooted in, is self-worship, because they are the walking gods of our age. So if I were to put my finger on it, I would say this monster, this creature, this beast, she's just too solipsistic to take into consideration your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your humanity. None of that really matters. I haven't met one particular creature that will pay attention when I'm, trying to shed light on some truth that she might not be aware of. Truth doesn't matter to the creature. None of that has any merit when she's just so solipsistic. If it doesn't benefit her, if there's not an immediate benefit, a tangible benefit that falls in line with her feelings, it's just not possible for her to even consider any of it important.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. Can you hear like an eldritch deity? Like, are you hearing extra sounds when I speak?
Kind of, yeah. I don't know if that's on me or if that's on you.
I'm hearing the same shit too. I think it's you. I think something's happening. It sounds like there's an eldritch deity like talking when we speak at the same time.
Yeah, it's like getting choppy towards the end. Yeah, I did notice that.
Yep. That's definitely happening. Well, it sounds like we're talking in tongues. I'm summoning an evil entity, so I don't want to talk that much.
I mean, as soon as I said, as soon as I said, this monster, this creature, this beast, that's when it started fucking up.
Oh no, it was happening way before that.
Oh, okay.
What the hell's happening?
Yeah, that's wild.
I was watching the Johnny Depp and the Amber Heard trial, and
Oh yeah,
she asked for some ridiculous stuff in the divorce. Like, I'm not sure, it was like 5,000 or something around that. I'm not for five. It was definitely a lot, and she kept on raising it until like the end was like she wanted, like, communal. I'm not for sure, like some California like system thing where like when two people get together, they have to pay for all their living expenses when they separate or some shit like that. I'm not even sure. And she wanted like him to pay like $7,000 and something, and I know $7,500, and that was after taxes.
It's like, where do the demands come from? How high can the creature see itself, the image of oneself? Like, if there's never a ceiling on how important they are and their feelings are, how can any man logically want to create a union with such a beast?
I don't know, man. Well, she was fucking like the richest man on the planet, or just the richest man on the planet at the time. Which probably inflated her ego. She's like, I'm fucking a millionaire. You're Johnny Depp. You should pay for my presence or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, I got a theory that these Hollywood simps, there's like a pool of succubi that have been all procured by the powers that shouldn't be, and these succubi latch their talons, their claws into these Hollywood simps that are ultimately blue-pilled. A few of them aren't, but majority of them are. And these succubi, they're so proficient at becoming a parasite, a demonic entity that can drain the energy and the soul literally out of these men. I think there's like probably like a whole team, like 100, maybe 150 of these creatures that they use to throw at these actors, entertainers, politicians, and it's probably a lot more than a few hundred, maybe a few thousand that they have, but all of them are demonic entities that can be used to subvert these men and pretty much take them for everything they're worth. And while this is going on, these beasts are acting as role models for the less empowered creatures who look to be a star themselves. That's why I think OnlyFans and Instagram is so powerful, because it turns your average creature into a more in charge demon.
Yeah, they get ego boosts from feeding off the, how to say it, there's technically power in what we focus on, which most people don't realize that. So it's as far as I say, if you was to focus on one idea, everyone in the world was to focus on one idea and pay attention to it consistently, that idea will grow in power over a period of time. But if you do that to people, that's how we get like demigods and so on.
Yeah, these entities, I think they're well crafted, and I think they got it down to a science. I think someone in the chat, who was it here? Sunny Waffles, they share these succubi. That's what Satan has for his children. And that's a great point. I think the quote-unquote bad boys, the Chads, Tyrones, I think for their sinister and evil behaviors as men, their reward is the succubi. I think the incubi and all the evil men of the world, that's their ultimate reward. That's what Satan has waiting for them, is this creature where they can explore the creature. They can, use the creature as a toilet. They can use the creature to wipe their, where the sun doesn't shine. There isn't anything underneath the sun that these beasts aren't willing to do for the most evil men. What do you think?
I believe that humans by nature aren't moral, but that doesn't mean we're evil or good. So certain actions do have effects on us more than others. If you are more likely to do or live in a certain environment that's more peaceful, you will naturally be a more peaceful person. Like, we have the proficiency for great evil, but we also have the proficiency for great good. So people that live in fucked up environments, that is all new shit and chaos for all their life, are more likely to do crazy shit. Like, Amber Heard is definitely not a person that was raised in a decent household in any form, but she also had a genetic, flaw in her that was activated by her environment, which made her so easy. Gray, I have a question. Is it really as bad as it sounds to us?
Like the kind of like popping sound effect.
Okay, I thought there's an echo, but it's like backwards. Oh wait, it's gone.
Nope, there it is.
Do you hear when I'm speaking, Gray?
Maybe. No, that's the thing. I kind of hear it from me too.
Yeah, we heard from everyone. Where's Yeetus?
Did you water?
I think his like headphones are next to the mic or some shit.
That's probably the case.
Damn it! I knew he was old, but I didn't think he was a boomer. Jesus Christ!
It's clearly a skeleton.
Well, yeah, he died in Vietnam. Yeetus died in Vietnam, and he's had to torment us with bad audio. And he's lying. He's not black. He's Arabic. He's just saying he's black. I'm gonna shit talk him until he comes back. I mean, oh, is it gone? Nope. It's still here. Yeah, but what's your thought on like women and the topic, so to say?
Well, that's the thing. Like you've been going to the nature versus nurture aspect, and that's really the question of where we can draw the line. Because on one hand, a peaceful environment does that necessarily raise a peaceful person? Because a person who's raised without some form of checks and balances does go absolutely haywire.
Peaceful doesn't necessarily mean no law or order, in my eyes.
Yeah, but then again, I think by contrast, someone who lived in like a chaotic, war-torn environment probably wouldn't get up to the same shit as someone who lives in the lap of luxury in the first world.
Oh, yeah. I feel like there's two extremes. Like people that live in the extreme pamper and the people that live in extreme hectic chaos where anything could happen in any second. Those type of people aren't stable because they don't have a decent balance of like you need to have some chaotic elements in yourself to want to improve and change and so on, but you also need a decent amount of stability so you become a decent person that actually can focus on one aspect and not just do random shit all the time.
I don't know. I would think that being in a chaotic environment where tomorrow is not guaranteed, I think that would lead you to be a little more appreciative of times of peace.
Yeah, but what if you never had times of peace? Like you always had chaos.
You would be more prone to chronic diseases. I think they did a study with children from houses where it was constant conflict and there was abuse from the mother and the father, mother and father fighting. Those children tend to have more serious ailments in their later ages. They tend to have from all that stress. They can kind of have their genes. I wouldn't say this is a fact, but if I'm just going to theorize, maybe it's as if their gene suppression for chronic diseases, maybe those get whacked off the telomeres, and their DNA itself has a harder time repairing itself from all the stress that they're under. It could be something along those lines, but I have read studies where many children from bad situations, they tend to have chronic diseases earlier in life than other people that came from like a less stressful environment.
At the very least, you're dealing with higher levels of cortisol at that point. How much it would affect you? Well, that'd be more Chronic's wheelhouse with epigenetics.
Yeah, for sure. But maybe not something like the telomerase 100%, but in a fashion in which there's something going on with the stress, the cortisol in relation to the gene epigenetics on a biochemical level. And those kids just are dealt a bad hand in life. So I think what you mean, chaos is raw chaos, carry on I think what you're describing is just a highly stressful environment for a child where there's really never peace at home. Because if anyone was living pure chaos, that's like a homeless child, like living on the streets every night. I would kind of equate that to kind of chaotic, like what Gray was saying, where the next day is not a guarantee.
Well,
no, but that's the thing. But even then, like pure chaos would be if it was inconsistent. Like you were on the streets one day, you had a roof over your head the next, you had a family the day after that. Like even in a shitty environment, there is still stability and consistency.
Hey, hey, hold up. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Fuck my stupid ass computer. Oh my god! Like, I'm glad that you guys couldn't hear me because I was raging. Like I was mad. I was very mad. I don't know what happened. Oh, I was so mad. Oh, woo. Okay. Yeah, Yeetus is back. Okay. I have no idea what you guys were saying, and you guys couldn't hear me. I don't know what was that, but you guys can continue. My bad.
Yeah.
So you're talking about nothing? Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
Like I think it's much harder to get someone into an environment where you maintain such inconsistency that tomorrow is not at least somewhat predictable. I think that's very difficult to replicate in the natural world versus like an environment where there is pampering and luxury to the point that a person goes completely stir crazy and entitled because there's never any opposition. They just get what they want all the time.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Like, yeah, I guess people become stagnant if they just get everything they need.
Well, they seek an extreme. Like if there's a conflict, then people are hardwired. Like, we do deal well with conflict as a species. Like we adapt, we push, we get pushed back. Yeah, some of us die, but that's nature. That's life. That is natural. Life continuing unopposed, that is unnatural. Like we are the only species on the planet that has even the possibility of that kind of luxury.
Humans are naturally violent.
So that's the thing. So regards, like I don't know where the balance, like the optimal.
No, I'm just putting out there. Like, humans are literally naturally violent. We just can't help it per se, especially if you're dealing with a certain group that doesn't relate to our own.
Well, animals are naturally violent.
Yeah, this thing, nature is naturally violent.
Isn't humans animals?
Well, yeah, but let's say, how I say it, dumb people are violent. It's just the honest truth.
Smart people are violent.
Yeah, but dumb people are way more violent.
No, dumb people just don't have as much impulse control.
So they're children, and children are animals. Well, they are more resembled to animals mentally.
No, it's all about nature versus nurture at the end.
Yes, but they both work hand in hand.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if that person didn't know what was it taught from right for wrong when it comes to like what Hammerhead says, morality, ethics, values, and stuff, they are way more likely to cause damage compared to a person that was taught, hey, you need to have that discipline, you need to have that moral compass to not just go willy-nilly and yeet somebody to heaven just because you didn't like what he said.
When Gray touched on the impulse control, not to get into like the way in which our society is divided and broken up, but typically the dumbest people would be coming from the least financially stable people. I've kind of noticed, like, and it's not like I'm calling anyone out, but certain rednecks that I've had conversations with, I'm like, man, you are the dumbest person I've ever like in Billy Madison, where the announcer at that competition they were having in the auditorium, sir, after this, like everyone in this room is dumber. Like there are those people, and they typically come from less financially well-off situations. They're the ones that, get steered in a certain fashion. So when you're talking about a something that is impulsive, could the impulsivity be due to the lack of financial stability and, feeling the person how can I say, their self-image and how they feel about oneself,
Like,
real
no, that's the
talk.
thing.
Oh, wait,
I
wait.
don't.
Okay, everybody stop right quick. Samantha P. It is so much more than nature versus nurture. How so?
Those are literally the only two facts.
Like how so? It's literally nature, biology, nurture, fucking society. Like,
Yeah, like if you're gonna make a broad statement
is it-
like that, you got to back it up with at least like an alternative case. You can't just say "nuh-uh." That's not an argument.
right?
That's like me saying that
Saying
I
is
can
agree.
walk through fire
What do you
without
mean?
burning my clothes.
What do you mean? It's basic fucking situations, right? Nature is literally something that we can't really control per se when it comes to it, it's something that's in our
Well,
DNA.
how about we have them actually justify it before we wrap ourselves up over it?
No. I'm just putting my point, and if she wants to join or he wants to join, Rio, my boy, go ahead and be my guest. But nature, something that it is what it is at the moment, right? It's just something that you just can't change because that's nature. Nurture, it is pretty much social construct, not nature. That's a nature.
I want to say social construct.
Nurture, fuck, nurture is social construct.
Oh, technically, it's a dance between the two. In most,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Dave,
and once
you
again,
don't know what
no disrespect, Samantha P. But what I'm saying is, I really don't see what's beyond nature versus nurture.
Astrology.
I really.
Well, even astrology's nature or nurture.
You may not do that space shit.
Yeah, no, but
You're a Capricorn.
Hey! I believe in astrology. It's right because everything I am on is a contradiction.
So you believe in space racism?
Yeah,
no,
I
but
believe in space
to kind of
racism.
address what Real Talk said. Like, look, I don't know if you can necessarily say that dumb people like primarily come from poor areas, because let's be honest, there's a bunch of people that don't have two fucking brain cells to rub together, and they get by financially well off, and they can get very financially well off because all they do is follow the instructions that are handed out before them.
Yeah, just because someone's rich doesn't mean they're smart. It just means that they were lucky to some degree and they actually took action when it came up.
Well, they're lucky and they followed orders. Like, fucking people are put on a bloody conveyor belt where so long as you're willing to comply with everything that you're told, it's very hard to actually fail.
If you don't believe in nature versus nurture, the most relevant evidence I can give you is Ukraine. That's the only relevant. The things that you guys know, right? Because mainstream news is plastering all over the place. Ukraine definitely gives a solidifying evidence of nature versus nurture. All right, they can claim that they're the women that's over there, that they're strong, they're independent, they're feminist, empowerment, blah blah blah. But once those bullets and explosions start flying, they escape to other countries while their boyfriends or husbands are forced to stay and die.
Okay, well, let's
No. I'm just
give a
keeping it real.
follow-up comment. You take a look at it.
I will. But I'm just keeping it real. When shit gets, not shit. When shit hits the fan, men and women revert back to the original roles.
Yeah,
that's
she clearly
nature.
she has a different idea of what nature versus nurture means.
God damn it. Okay, let me read it. Gotcha. When people use nature versus nurture, they're implying that they can nurture nature into being civil. It's not that easy. Most of the successful people I know are self-built from nothing. Yeah, yeah.
No.
I can.
No,
No.
no,
No, no,
no.
no, 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 no,
No.
no. Wait. Damn. Holy shit. Why y'all trying to jump me? Hold up.
Because you've been gone for like 30 minutes.
Let me read. Damn. Let me catch up for a bit. Y'all ain't even let me catch up yet. When people use nature versus nurture, they're implying that they can nurture nature into being civil. It's not that easy. Most of the successful people I know are self-built from nothing. Okay, since you guys want to say something, I'm gonna start with Gray first and carry on.
Okay, number one, if you don't think that we nurture nature into being civil, have you ever seen a feral child? One that has absolutely no nurturing? Yeah, they're not someone that can function in modern society. We do absolutely redirect natural impulses through nurturing and societal conditioning. And second,
Only, yeah.
successful people self-built from nothing, horseshit. These people did not fucking pop out of the womb and then fucking build themselves up from nothing. No, they still had parents. They still had a society. They still had interactions. They still had an education. They didn't teach themselves how to read from zero. Everyone was built up by their environment, at least to a certain extent. Self-built from nothing is horseshit.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
I have to agree with that. People that say that
Because
are normally people that
no,
are
the-
egotistical.
I know about the trust fund babies, right? But what Gray is saying is based on the knowledge that that child knows and the things that he was influenced by growing up, you can't just blow that off and say that that's not part of his that's not part of his reason why he was successful or she was successful.
Well,
Because
logically speaking, I'm sorry. You just go ahead.
no, go ahead, real talk. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, is logically speaking, if that person did climb from like the bottom of the pits, who gave that person a roadmap? Who was their counsel? Did they have anyone that they looked up to that guided them? Because it's very hard for someone who has absolutely nothing to navigate through this rat race of life of the Western civilization. So someone within that group or that was connected to that individual had to give him some insight that the rest of the people who had less or had the minimum, like that person who came from scratch that you're claiming, someone had to put a chime in that person's ear and put knowledge that that person couldn't have came across naturally, like a roadmap to success. Kind of like this, what MGTOW, how many truckers are in MGTOW, and they get people who come from basically nothing to invest in trucking, and then these people have big monstrous businesses at the end of the day. Someone gave him that information. Someone gave him a roadmap.
Hey, does my voice sound good?
Yeah, your voice sounds
Yeah.
fine. I'm seeing disagreements in the chat. I
Go
think I'd
here.
want someone to
I'm
define
seeing
what
it right
the-
now. So based on what I'm saying right now, right, is don't get me wrong, there are a select few, a select few of people that decides to go on their own and try to be self-made. But in my opinion, there's no such thing as being truly self-made. And if there is, it's a 0.00000000001%.
I'd want someone to give me a definition of what a self-made person
Well,
would be like.
I have
because
one.
people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? They want to proclaim that he came from another country, he learned the language and all that stuff. But I'm like, he had huge help from older bodybuilders, right? Like they paid for his rent, they gave him all the food that he needs and all that stuff, right? Nobody, let me say right now, nobody can truly succeed on their own. I repeat, nobody can truly succeed on their own. Does anybody want to disagree?
Well, if you're on your own from a child, you're just going to straight up die.
Exactly. But when somebody that's a young teenager or young adult and they see some potential in you, you don't truly do everything by yourself. You have plenty of help. Plenty of help. Okay? Even Arnold Schwarzenegger said himself, he had plenty of help on his come up. Plenty. He was helped by various bodybuilders. Okay? He had nothing. He barely spoke English. He was 21 years old, 22 years old. And he had plenty of help from these people that he doesn't even know that well. But since they saw potential in him, they're like, you know what? Let's help this guy out. You know, he has passion. He has that drive. Okay. Nobody truly succeeds on their own, especially with the nature versus nurture thing. Nurture definitely plays a huge part in the nature, and vice versa. Like they're nature and nurture are so intertwined. It's not even funny.
Yeah, because we're not sure how it started, but we can just guess generally that life form all came from one place if we're going by evolution. And if we're going by evolution, that means that over a period of time, different environments made sure there's different creatures suited for those environments so they could become the best that they are. So you can technically say, I'm related to a fish. Me and the fish have barely anything in common between besides eyes and that we have mouths and multiple limbs and like bones and so on. Yeah, environments do shape nature and nature does shape people's environments and so on. So let's say this. There could be a clone of me, and let's say me and the clone were separated from birth. We
Right.
can do the same activities and so on, but because we have different people surrounding us, my clone might be different from me in how he speaks. Let's say my clone was born in India. He'll speak Hindu, whatever they speak. I'm not even sure completely. He will have a different diet than me because we don't live in the same country. He'd be used to different like physical temperature and so on and so on. So like, yes, environments and nature, you're like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter. You could say that people were self-made, but like people that say they're self-made, they say they didn't get great teachers. That's all they're saying. Like my teachers were lackluster. They didn't teach me that much. They taught me. If they said that, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's what you truly mean. Like you got taught. It wasn't the best teaching. It wasn't any grade A stuff. People weren't going out of their way to like drag you up and like, okay, I'm gonna show you the ropes. You got people like, oh, here's this, and they just told you a little bit about it, and after you're like, okay, let me try it, and you kept on working. You weren't handed your stuff. Yeah, no one was handed the stuff. They want to say they were self-made. All those people, so on and so forth. But they did get help. They had family. They might not be in the best family. They had neighbors, friends, and so on that were influenced them, and that influence made them become who they were.
And they got it messed up, right? Because in today's society, they claim, which happened a year or two ago, right? They claim that what's her name? Kylie Jenner was a self-made billionaire. This bitch.
Well, she's self-made as much as everyone else is.
She is self-made as much as a silicone that's in her that's in 95% of her body. She ain't self-made for shit. Clearly, she has so much help, it's not even funny. Self-made is definitely a definition that not everybody could agree on. Because I'm talking about self-made where you're literally from, I don't care if you're lower class, middle class, or high class. If you have if you have so much help from external sources, you're not self-made at all. There's only a couple people that I can claim that they are self-made. There are not too many people on this earth that they can say they are self-made, successful careers or self-made millionaires, let alone
I know.
billionaires.
I know of one, Yeetus. Donald Trump. He's self-made. Self-made man.
Well,
with
yeah,
this
he's self-made. He got a small over $1 million.
small loan $1 million. I was about to say, fuck. Come on, carry on.
Hey, it's not my fault you're lagging.
Damn it. No, you didn't. You interrupted me. Okay, I didn't expect what you was going to say. But in all seriousness, when it comes to nature versus nurture, they are very, very intertwined. Okay.
Yeah.
If
And like, quite
people tell
frankly,
you
I don't
oh,
like.
oh.
I don't buy that people are self-made. Look, you did not come out of the womb and fucking like hunt mice as your first meal. You had parents. You were fed. You were raised. You were taught the language. You were taught the rules of society. You didn't figure that shit out for yourself. You did not just suddenly start existing with a bunch of pre-existing knowledge at 16 to 18.
Because do you know how many people that are genetically gifted or intellectually gifted and they completely fail because of their environment?
I'll say that's pretty a decent amount of people. I'll say most people definitely have a skill that they just don't know about because they haven't been in the right environment to actually make sure those skills bloom.
Right. It's just like it's insane to me where a lot of people are like, oh, if you are self-made, or if you have good genes and all that stuff, you'll be successful. No. In my opinion, to truly be successful, you need to, like, don't get me wrong, luck is one thing, okay? You have to be at the right place at the right time. Cool, fine. But on top of that, when it comes to being from a well-off family, and on top of that, having some good genetics, I'm just speaking from the athletic sense. I'm sure that there's plenty, I'm talking about plenty of other people that works at the, what's the college term again? Because I can't remember right now. Engineering, mathematics,
STEM?
STEM. Thank you very much. There's plenty of STEM people over there, right? But unfortunately, those females are not attracted to those guys for the most part until they hit the wall.
Just to address Pliskin, like, look, dude, I'm not moving the goalposts. I'm asking for someone who's self-made to define self-made. Because to say that a person 100% acquired everything in their life by themselves is horseshit in a society that, in a species that requires us to be dependent on our parents from a very young age. If you're going to say you're self-made, you got to define what self-made is before you make that claim, because it's kind of like the black pill. Everyone's got a different definition.
That's true. And Mr. Pliskin, if you have anything... I'm chronic. I'm self-made. Fight me. Oh shit! But I'm gonna read Samantha P. If that was the case, then everybody in America should be super successful. They are all given way more education and pampering than necessary to become successful.
No. Education and pampering doesn't mean you're going to become successful. You actually need to be taught how to use those. Most people aren't taught to actually use their brains. They're just taught how to do something.
That generalization ain't going to work in America.
Yeah.
Do you know how many places in America that doesn't have that type of education and pampering?
Yeah, aren't most schools in America like failing their students?
Not to mention, it's a cutthroat society. That's like saying, oh, everyone should get first place if they all get enough athletic training. It's like, no, they're all in a race. Someone's going to lose.
And plus, they're not trying to teach their kids to actually learn things about life. They're teaching the kids to pass tests. That's it. If you guys know what I'm talking about.
Well, even even besides that, they don't teach children skills that could, like, how to say it. I don't know the fact
that are relevant to their future success.
Yeah.
Oh, hold up. Self-made means that you stuck the information entirely on your own, implemented it on your own. Being handed ketchup on Wonder Bread does not count as help. Okay, the last sentence confused the fuck out of me. Being handed ketchup on one
Okay.
of
Also, stuck the information entirely on your own. That sentence doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense to any of you?
You mean that you
No, it doesn't.
implement it? Like you, if you're trying to say that
Well, I
self-made's a
got
dumbass term.
here with YouTube. Definitely not on my own, right? Because without crying, there would be no sort of Yeetus. But being handed ketchup on Wonder Bread does not count as help. Are you sure about that?
Yeah,
Are you sure about that?
like your the nutrition levels that you were given as a child doesn't make a difference on your future success.
That's what I'm saying.
It
Samantha,
definitely
if you wanna call in, like, go ahead and be my guest. I would love to talk about this.
But
I would love to
does.
talk about this.
The term self-made, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that a term used by the La Cosa Nostra, the mob? He's a made man. Like is it a made man or self-made? Like, when did this self-made come about, and at what point did it come about? Was this definition? Because when you include technology and you include a lot of other factors, it's a lot easier to become self-made, quote unquote, self-made today. And I think the way in which the chat is referring to it as, it was a lot harder before this huge increase in technology. So are you going to say that the guy today that's quote unquote self-made is just as self-made as the guy 70 years ago?
Well, and then I'm also seeing that I don't know. I'm just pretending not to know the definition. I've got two different people I've got at least two different definitions of self-made in this chat. This is not a consistent definition.
It's not. It's
And quite frankly, you have to also look in at the times on top of that. People nowadays are far more productive than they were decades ago. They're not getting paid according to their productivity.
Oh,
So people are being rewarded less for providing more.
Absolutely. Many that are self-built saw the information on their own. They invested time and resources into books and tapes, learning how to implement them.
that's not even true because
I guess, yeah,
you could say all that shit, but there's people that done that same shit and got nowhere. There's I can say for every person that's made it, there's probably 10 or 100 people that haven't made it, and they're probably way more intelligent and way more skilled than the person that made it.
Yeah, you can look at some of the successful artists nowadays. Yeah, they're not skilled on a fucking technical level. They just know how to fucking market themselves and how to appeal to the right influencers, and probably were born into the appropriate circumstances on top of that. Like someone who can throw a couple circles and squares on it and get a newspaper article about how they're a leading artist apparently is more of a self-made man than someone who fucking studies for years to learn all the proper rules of art, color balance, anatomy, etc.
Well, the only people I see that are self-made are the people that actually were able to, create their own income or business financially, right? And are able to expand it to the point where they're able to get some partners and stuff together. They have their own little brand, their own little business that they built to the point where it gets noticed by others, and that person did it themselves.
Anyone that's self-made, people I can say are self-made are people that have barely any parents, barely anyone that will look after them. So let's say this: a kid that's orphaned, they're old enough to survive on themselves and they can work. So they work in the fields, they make money. After they use they herd around the neighborhood. Okay, people want this, so they start buying that and selling that for more money and getting more money. But again, they have a cap limit because you need help to grow. That's like saying trees don't grow on sunlight. Oh, I'm gonna plant this tree in a cave and it's gonna grow miraculously. No.
Yeah, and another definition of self-made in the chat as well. So the chat can't agree on what self-made means to begin with.
Because
So saying
I
whether
think-
or not someone is self-made is entirely irrelevant because there is no definition of self-made. It's apparently subjective. So if someone wants to say they're self-made, okay, fine, whatever that means to you, I guess you qualify.
Well, in mass, from a subjective lens, I think Brandon Trueblood, I think this is what the subjectivity of the chat is mostly agreeing on. And I kind of side with him here because there's one fundamental of an individual who's self-made, and that is a high degree of self-discipline. Like, I don't think you can become self-made without being very disciplined. So when he says self-made means you start poor and become successful without gifts or special treatment, I think that extreme high level of self-discipline has to be there with all of these definitions. Without the discipline, it's not possible.
yes, but discipline is just not natural. The most most natural beings are children, like 3-year-olds. They don't have discipline unless someone told them discipline. And after they ingrain that into themselves over a period of time until it becomes their own discipline.
You can't have an absolute definition of self-made, I think with the way in which the world is today, and probably there was never an absolute definition of self-made. So this is always going to be a circular subjective argument of sorts. I will say, though, that fundamentally, yes, someone or something can teach that child discipline, but after that discipline is there and that individual knows how important the discipline is, that individual can either choose to be undisciplined, fall to the wayside, get entrapped by the system and the how can I say, the things that you should not be
Vices.
How can I say, buying? Yeah, vices, of course. So you either choose vices or you choose to be extremely disciplined, and only those who are extremely self-disciplined can be a self-made individual. You can't have one or the other. It's unfortunate that we can't come to an absolute definition, but in a subjective lens, the discipline is really the only thing that makes you self-made.
Well, if they said that, I would agree with them much more, but none of them said that. They all talked about
here's my thing. Here's my thing. When it comes to being self-made, it's the fact that you were born with pretty much nothing, right? Yeah, you'd be able to work yourself. Well, that's my definition, right? I'm not saying it's like that. The only.
That's the thing. No, it's pretty much nothing. Like,
but what I'm saying is a person that was literally like had no type of help since the beginning. I'm talking about not the trust fund babies, right? The people that literally had things handed to them on a silver platter, right? Having a silver spoon in their mouths, which would be a lot easier for them to even open some type of business in the first place. So the people that didn't have that type of help and then eventually build themselves to the point where they're able to get their brand or business or whatever it is broadcasted, I say that's self-made.
okay, but that just basically sets a high bar. Then then there's various degrees of self-made because, like, well, did you get an education growing up, or did you have to learn from did you have to learn to read by just listening to people and teach yourself how to read out of books? Like, at what point?
Education is useless to me, in my opinion, when it comes to being a self-made.
What type of education, though?
Well, college is useless to me when it comes to determining.
Okay, yeah. What about addition? What about basic mathematics? Is that useless?
Well, no, but what I'm saying is a person that's able to, hey, I'm able to do this myself with no external help, to the point where I'm able to get noticed and get my brand out there business-wise. I say that's self-made.
So disciplined, hardworking, independent person.
Right, and that person doesn't have to be from a family that doesn't have a family that has a silver spoon in their mouths. I'm talking about a family that, hey, we don't really have shit per se, but based on what I know or what I can do. I'm able to get to the point where, hey, I'm able to get noticed by these higher ups, and they're like, you know what? Your product or your brand that you're trying to display, we're interested in that now. You know, a lot of people that are up there in the very successful stage, they already had money since birth. That's
Yeah,
not
but
self-made in my
you can have
opinion.
money from birth, but if you're a dumbass, like don't discipline yourself, you can lose that money in seconds.
I understand that that's not
That's the thing, but like
self-made.
life does not
not-
start at 18.
No, but that's not self-made.
At what point are you like, okay, now you receive no one else's
have
help if you want
money.
your self-made? How much money?
They have money since I'm
How
talking
much?
about millions.
Okay, so everyone who doesn't get life with millions, like what can disqualify them from being self-made?
Well, if I say personally, if you have parents I'll say parents that are already in the millions, you already had a silver spoon in your mouth. You can't proclaim yourself to self-made if you already had a huge amount of help from your parents in the first place when it comes to monetary situations.
Okay, well, what about if you don't have a huge amount?
You want to open up a business? Oh, okay, here. Open up a business. Here, let me give you the money. Here, come here. Let me give you the funds to open up the business. Not many people can even say that in the first place when it comes to open up a business. They have to take out a loan.
Okay, yeah, but then does the loan not disqualify you from being self-made because that's the bank helping you out?
No, because you have to pay it back.
All right. What about having a house? What about having property in the family? Does that disqualify you from being self-made?
What do you mean by property? If you have a lot of property,
If your family
you
owns
should
a
have
house
lot
instead of
money in the
renting it, if your family owns a house instead of having to rent an apartment their entire lives.
Well, I'm sure that. Well, okay. So what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Like the only
Like-
like you keep giving examples of the millionaires, the freaking 1% of the 1% of the world. But if the self-made is supposed to be truly exceptional, you can't just say every non-millionaire is self-made because they didn't have a silver spoon in their mouth.
Well, because
At
once
what
again,
point-
like I
what
said
is
before,
the level of what is the level of help that
but like I
disqualifies
said
someone?
before, there's always a person that is at the right place at the right time. Luck, right? There's always a person that's not always, but there's a person that has the right place at the right time at the right moment where they're able to take advantage of that moment and then just fucking explode in success. But when I'm talking about the people that had to work for years, right? They don't, because let's keep it real. When it comes to the economy, money talks. Money talks. So when you don't even have the family to even say, hey, you want to open up a business? Let me give you some funds. There's plenty of families that were not able to do that, right? So that person has to work their butt off to even get the funds to get the business started. Maybe depending on what they wanted to do, they had to do it completely on their own.
Okay, but then it's like completely on their own. Aren't you dependent on your employer prior to you being able to open your own business? Again, like that's the thing. This self-made stuff, it's all degrees. Like basically the only thing that people can consent to is you weren't handed everything in life. I think that the definition of self-made is a little stricter than that.
No. Self-made is pretty much it wasn't handed to you.
Yes, okay. All I can tell from self-made,
That's it.
yeah, all I can tell from self-made is an idea made by poor people who didn't get everything handed to them, and they felt like they had to make something up to feel better that they didn't get everything handed because, oh well, my parents didn't give it to me, so I feel like what you did is not valued compared to what I did.
Okay, well, what about poor people that received help from their communities when they were young? Are they no longer self-made?
Well, no, they're not going to add that because Their parents didn't give it to them. It's emotional pampering.
Self-made is pretty much it wasn't handed to you on a silver platter. That's pretty much it. When they try to claim that Kylie Jenner,
what about an iron platter?
When they try to claim that Kylie Jenner was self-made, which they did, they try to claim that Kylie Jenner was a self-made billionaire. Plenty of people go like, "What the fuck? What are you talking about?" She was part of a family that's already rich and multi-billionaire status anyway. That's where I call complete bullshit in the sense of if you already have a fund since birth, if you wanted to open up a business, you could. That's not self-made.
That means that most people that are rich are self-made. No, that means most people are self-made because most people aren't rich or have influential families in certain fields.
If you ever get to the point where, what's up, bro? Talk.
I was just going to say on a side note, what you just brought up about Kylie, with more people going after her claim of being self-made, but not many going after Donald Trump's claim of self-made, it kind of goes to show you the mass psychosis where, of course, a creature who just has her goods, her natural goods that she woke up with about age 14, of course we can go after her, but I mean, the orange man bad, I'm not going to say he's bad, but why doesn't he get the same? He's a buster. He got his life set up for him. It's a side note, but I hear a lot more people talking about that creature than I do the orange-haired orangutan.
I thought people get on him as well.
They did.
Like, especially when he said that he had a small loan of $1 million.
Yeah, it depends what circles you run in, real talk.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
drag the shit out of Trump for that shit.
Donald Trump got fucking attacked like a motherfucker by the left.
Dude, that was a meme for
Maybe I've been around the more right-leaning people. That makes a lot more sense now. But I was just like, man, like they always make it sound like he's this god, and I'm like, dude, anyone who's on TV, they are being propped up. Like if you have a TV show like The Apprentice, or like you're like that clown Zelensky who has his own series, all these people are put in positions for particular reasons. So it's crazy, but yeah, I agree with you guys. Now I see the perspective.
Ian Blades, Kylie did make her money from her own business, so can't slag her off. And I won't. And she definitely has a successful business. But would have had launched without the help from her family, Kim Kardashian, fucking the mother and all that shit, the whole Kardashian family. No,
even that her dad.
That family. Oh, and the dad, right? The dad was a lawyer that defended OJ.
No, her dad was
the
athlete.
No, that was her stepdad. Her real dad was one of the top lawyers for OJ.
No, Kylie Jenner. The Jenners are the dad's.
Oh yeah, you're right. Damn.
Wait.
I'm all fucked up.
Explain to me again.
The Kardashians, that is the Kardashians and the Jenners have two different dads. The Jenners is Bruce Jenner, the athletes, children.
Yeah,
and
so who's the one that defended OJ?
That would be the Kardashians.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, my bad. I messed it up. But if it wasn't for the family being successful in the first place, that family would not have, the business would not have been successful as it would have been right now.
Yeah.
That's not self-made.
No, she I'm not going to say that she was self-made, but I just find the whole self-made argument to be unproductive in general.
No, it's a good argument, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a good argument.
At the very least, we can determine. At the very least, we can determine that people do have fairly varying definitions of what self-made is, and I mean, heck, to a certain extent, yeah, there's probably a couple people in chat who would qualify as self-made to a certain extent. But it's always to a certain extent, because we all received some measure of assistance growing up as children and being acclimated to society.
Yeah, like I said before, nobody can truly succeed on their own. And if they did, right, if they truly did succeed on their own, that's 0.0000001%.
Now,
Like,
and here would be the other thing. Success in the context of modern society, like
that can vary
like
as well.
that's the thing.
I agree.
Because then, right, let's say you have someone who lives out in the sticks and they live a humble life, but successful. Like they manage to survive and they don't need handouts. They always make sure that they have a nest egg to provide for them. They have a backup of food so that they never need to be independent. And that's the only life they've known. I think that would probably also qualify as self-made, even if by the modern definition of society, because they're not a millionaire with a shit ton of fucking wealth and acclaim. Like that doesn't make them less self-made.
Actually,
No,
the
no,
only
no, no,
person
no.
that can be truly self-made is a thief, in my eyes. They just stole from
No,
everyone else
no,
until
no,
they got to a certain point that they could just build their own stuff because they stole from everyone else.
No.
Guy.
That is the truest form of self-made.
Oh my-
I got no
Yeah.
help. I got no training. I was just good
What
at
about
running. I
What about
stole
food
the
trucks?
You're
stole it from
talking
myself.
about who swindled the whole UK stock exchange after the Battle of Waterloo. Carry on. That's who you're
No, I'm
talking about.
talking-
I know.
I'm talking
I know
about
who you're
some lab-
talking about.
No. I'm talking about some Aladdin crap. Like, hey, I'm stealing from everyone. I didn't come up from anyone. No one gave me the handouts. I was stealing. I was on the street.
No
I
one
was
gave me a
thinking-
handout. I took it all without their
Yeah.
permission.
But what I'm saying is, I know that there's plenty of people that succeed on their own. Like and even it doesn't. Once again, it doesn't have to be millionaire. It doesn't have to be billionaire. I agree. You know, people that actually open up their own business, and that's the biggest thing, right? Like open up their own business is already expensive in itself. So just because they open up their own business doesn't mean that they're living well off.
Yeah. It's just that the word connotation self-made, the idea that it triggers in most people's mind is, oh, they had no help at all and they came from nothing. And they built themselves up into this giant, like raising from the ashes and all that
It
shit.
used to be like that 100 years ago or around there. It
Well,
used to
we
be.
think it was. We don't have
Well, I'm
anyone
just saying, like,
around that we can ask.
I'm just saying, like the people that came from. Hey, I know America, right? But I'm talking about people that moved to America and didn't really have anything, and they
Yeah, but
built off something.
they
on
still
their own.
needed an employer.
Well, an employer and when it comes to the point where, like I said, being self-made, and like what you said, it varies. So, a person that's able to come and leave their entire life and travel overseas and being able to deal with what they have, and they have some crazy recipe that everybody likes, and then eventually, in whatever years that it took to even do it, their business or restaurant becomes very successful, right? Because, like, once again, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It's all about the right place and the right time as well.
But I think it's kind of like dependence versus independent. Someone who says they're 100 independent, be like, okay, what happens if the power goes out and doesn't come back on?
I see what you're saying. I definitely
think
see what
that
you're saying.
the term self, I think it has it's very, very broad. I think all of these individuals that claim to be self-made, they in a subjective stance made something from nothing. I think that's a little bit more fitting because the nothing could
That's what I said
be
in the beginning.
Yeah,
Well, they have to be
exactly.
gods
Yeah,
then.
I think we've been going circular, but the bottom line is typically something from nothing, and the nothing can be subjective. It could be the pits of Chirac, nothing, or it could be nothing in a rural area where you know there really isn't much opportunity, and you've made in the area's standards, you've made something out of nothing. As Gray was describing, that individual who can live in a more humble, modest fashion, but they've still built themselves up into something. I think it's the something out of nothing that we are kind of all agreeing on. It's just
even that can be subjective. But I really came here to talk about a creature. You guys want to get back on
We'll do
topic?
it very soon after this. Self-made is a myth, folks. No, I don't think it's a myth. I don't think it's a myth. Because once again, you can take a horse to the river. You can't force it to drink it.
Oh, unless you make it drink salt and something like that.
Okay, good luck trying to force the horse's head under the fucking water to drink. Okay,
Hey,
good luck.
Feed it salt. Hey, just feed it salt.
Drink, motherfucker.
Actually, I'm reminded of a communist parable about how do you make a cat eat a chili pepper.
Oh, okay. What's up?
All right, so Mao asked some of his advisors, how do you get a cat to eat a chili pepper? One suggested you hide it in their food, and Mao said no, because they won't like that you deceive them, and they will discover it quickly. Then the second one said, you force it down its throat with chopsticks. And he said, no, you can't use violence, you can't use force, it'll fight back and probably hurt you. And said, okay, Chairman, how do you make a cat eat a chili pepper? Easy. You crush the chili into its fur. Not only will it happily lick and eat the chili for you, eat the chili pepper, it will thank you for the opportunity.
Hey, Gray, I'm about to stop you right quick. Self-made is a lie. No one can make anything of themselves with little to no help, especially in the 1900s. There were no people who were self-made. Are you insane?
Self-made is
Especially
very
in
much
the early 1900s. You say there's people that are what?
Again, that's where we have to define self-made, because it is very much used, as in the case with Kylie Jenner, for marketing purposes to create a mythos and identity.
So what about at least farmers?
Where they get the seeds?
Where they get the land?
I don't know. They probably fucking take it from some. You know how difficult it is.
So they were stealing. See, I was right. Stealing is the only way to be self-made.
Farmers are not stealers. Sometimes. Sometimes.
Like a bunch of the immigrant farmers to Canada, like back in early pre-1900s even, they came here with very little, but under the deal of look, you come here, you work this land, we'll give you the land.
But so here's my definition of self-made. You come from literally little to nothing, and then you're able to make yourself into something of value. I mean, I'm talking about economic wise. Okay. Where you literally have to eat nothing but mustard sandwiches to the point where you're eating medium rare prime ribeyes. That's my most simple definition I can give you guys.
Like, if I was to pick a term similar to self-made, I'd either like the term rags to riches, because it still condones that you came from somewhere. It might not be the best place, but you still had something in the beginning.
Right. You know, and don't get me wrong, like, hey, everybody's definition can be different. I agree. But this was definitely a phenomenal conversation, and hell, who knows? I might have a conversation in the future, but hopefully we'll be able to have some type of vegan debate tomorrow. Okay, that's what I'm trying to look for. Do we have to talk so much shit about vegans to the point where vegan gains pop up?
I'm pretty sure that if you just put talking shit about vegans in the title, you'll get
vegans will pop
popping
up.
in.
Wait. Should I tag vegan gangs? No.
You may as well. For some reason, whenever there's a mention of vegan in title cards, vegans will tend to flock to defend it.
Yeah.
Okay, I would definitely do that. Okay,
but you're gonna want to you're gonna want to announce the stream kind of early so that they can prep and get all their shit together.
Oh, I will announce it tonight. But was it real talk? Real talk.
Did he die?
My bad. I'm driving right now. If it's not too loud, but go ahead.
You said that you wanted to talk about the creature.
Yeah, the topic.
What's
you
up?
know, what is it that she wants everything, or what that was before you kind of got all fucked up on the audio.
Yeah, like I know we got out of control, but I think that it's very important to talk about how she only cares about what she wants. She doesn't even care about what the man wants.
Yeah. I think Carrie and I we both said what our thought was earlier. We didn't hear from you in Gray as far as we did hear from you, but we didn't get to
My
hear Gray's
computer is
piece.
being a bitch.
All right. So,
But-
but on that particular topic, that's where we got kind of to the nature versus nurture aspect.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
So,
So you're gonna start first, Gray?
if you want me to, or you can go. I don't care.
All right, you can go for it because I'm curious now.
All right. So that's the thing. Like, when it comes to, so we have to ask in this: is this behavior of them their nature, or is it merely a product of the environment? Because I think it would be reasonable to assume that focusing entirely on one's desires is an entirely natural thing, and it is only due to the modern society enabling the ability for a woman to get what she wants without having to consider trading. Like, that is purely a modern construct, but the inherent desire to just provide for oneself is completely normal. And I think that you'd probably see it in men too. It's just that men don't get shit for free. And we learned that early on.
Yeah, I believe if men got shit for free, they would be just as bad, or if not worse, than women.
Well, to be fair, we see some of them do as like
Well,
artists
just like
or
what Dave
roaches.
Chappelle said, if we are able to get some puniti without getting a house, we will not get a house.
Yeah, like, let's say there was a guy, I think I remember reading this comic about these guys that could just get sex without even trying. And by doing this strange technique. And the person that did it the longest, he didn't care how he looked, he was a bum in all sense of the words. But he just kept on getting sex. He's like, why would I want to improve myself if the reason for me improving myself on a biological level was just to get sex? But I could get it so easily without me trying.
All I'm saying is, when it comes to women, they always, I'm talking about modern women as well. Not modern women, Western women. See, that's a better
Yeah, is it
definition.
Western?
I say Western, and slowly it's becoming Eastern. Because once again, I've been there in 2020. Eastern countries are a fraction of the issue of what's happening in the Western countries. It's not as bad as what you think it is. For now, right? Like, I haven't been there in a couple years, right? The feminism probably already took over. But when it comes to dealing with all this crazy stuff, it is so insane that these modern women or Western women, they go, I ain't gonna do anything that you want me to do. I ain't gonna do anything traditional, right? Yeah, I know that you put a ring on my finger, but just because I say I do doesn't mean I do. Okay? I'm
Well,
gonna do whatever. Well, what's up?
keep in mind the the environment and the laws matter hugely. Like, you take an Eastern woman into the West, she'll start acting like the Western thoughts pretty fucking fast. Like, maybe not all of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
but
feminism is cancer. Yeah, I agree.
that's the thing. But that's the point. It's not really so much a matter of like the
It's
genetics
cancer.
or the nature. It's not the genetics of the woman that matters. It's the environment with which she exists. The nature is consistent. They'd all do it if given the opportunity. It's
Well,
just
like I
not all of them
explained
have it.
Like I explained before, I know that all women are like that, okay? No matter where they are in the world, I understand. But like what you said right now, Gray, it's all about the laws and the culture. That's the biggest factor. because they'll be less likely and they'll be less empowered to fuck you over, in the sense of, you know how men are having their hands tied behind their back in the United States? The women in the eastern countries, they have their hands tied behind their back when it comes to trying to fuck over their husbands.
Even then, I've seen.
No, I'm saying, like, as feminism tends to spread, I already know it's gonna.
No, I
change
even
that.
older, even prior generations, I've heard some pretty fucked up stories.
Well, since I already been over there, I agree. But when it comes to dealing with women in general over there, it's not, personally, my personal experience is definitely not as bad as in the United States.
Oh yeah, no, casual interactions are significantly improved.
Not just casual. The fuck? You think I'm just casually dealing with these bitches?
You're not having family relationships with them.
I'm fucking them.
That don't mean
Yeah.
you have any family relationships.
Yeah, that's casual.
No, I'm saying I don't have to worry about no Me Too bullshit and all that crazy shit. Right? Because I don't have to worry about, oh, I regret sleeping with him the next day. Let me just do some Me Too bullshit.
Well, you're black eaters. I mean, they might try to do that shit on
That's
you.
even worse. That's even worse. Like, I might have a better time in Germany, right? Because I've been to Germany. But oh, Germany is great. I love Germany. Germany
when
2019.
That makes sense.
yeah, that is fair. That is fairly recent. All right.
Yes. And they definitely saw me as exotic, but that's besides the point.
So you were the monkey in the zoo.
Oh, they thought they wanted the schlong, right? But I wasn't playing to the hand, right? And that helped me able to bring in a couple girls with me back to the hotel. I'm like, ooh, let's go. I messed with German girls, Polish girls, French girls. They were very like how do I say, uppity? Like they were like
Haughty.
They try to walk around like they're better than everybody else.
Well, that's just the French in general.
I'm like, what
they
the
are.
fuck?
They technically are better than everyone else gone by a large human standards.
French, they eat snails.
Some people eat ass. Oh my days.
Area, why are you so adamant on defending these French girls? What the fuck?
No. I'm British. But,
even when you're British, you're defending so hard these French girls, bro.
Oh, I'm the same. Some people actually eat ass, like.
Yeah, I understand.
No. I don't mean in the sexual way. I mean like they downright eat ass.
So how is it not in a sexual way?
No, like people kill animals. Okay, I've seen a video. I was looking through this cooking channel once.
Wait. It started with kill animals, bro. What are you trying to tell me?
People eat animal ass and pussy at the same time.
Are you talking like those barrels of duck vaginas?
Oh,
duck
shit.
vaginas, cow vaginas.
No. Stop. Oh my god. People eat animal ass, bro. But what I'm saying,
you ever heard of rump roast?
No, I haven't. No,
you have probably eaten that particular. Dude, it's a very plentiful part of the animal. I'm pretty sure you've eaten a cut of meat that was originally an animal's ass cheek.
Yeah, especially eat burgers and like sausages.
Oh,
you don't know
you've eaten every part of an animal if you've eaten.
I ate the cow cheek, like the beef cheek. Like
so he eats animal ass.
No, I do not. What's it called? When I went to Walmart and we got a couple of those, you know, because it was dirt cheap, you know. So you say that this is cow cheek, right? So I ain't talking about no, oh, you go up the rectum, huh? No, that's not what we're talking about. In the end, when it comes to going to Germany or Korea and stuff, Germany was definitely a way better experience, but Korea was good as well. But at the same time, they definitely were very xenophobic. If you know what that means.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm xenophobic. I don't like anyone that's not from England. I don't even like the Scottish.
Carry on.
honestly, it was like after being overseas for a while, it was trippy coming back to Canada because then you realize, holy shit, there's a wide variety of people here.
But you notice, as a black guy, I'm able to let my guard down overseas. Do you know how crazy that felt? That I don't have to worry about, oh, if I make the wrong move, I'm gonna get my head blown off by a cop.
Got
Yeah, I had to worry about
country,
I kind of had to
No,
worry
no,
about
that's what
the
it is.
opposite.
No, that's what it is. If not just a cop, then I won't get my head blown off by people that are near or within my neighborhood.
Yo, that's because they don't have guns. But
Oh, they have guns.
well, no, most generally, like people in other countries have less guns, so
Oh,
police
other
forces are
countries.
less likely.
Relative to America, yes. Everyone has less
I thought you meant America. America,
You
yeah,
guys have more guns than people. What are you talking about?
exactly. And as a black dude walking around, there's not too many friendly people I can interact with at all. So when I went overseas, whether it's Korea or Germany, oh, I loved every second of it. I loved it. Oh, I'm able to truly let my guard down and have a good time.
So I
Hey,
guess
just
the
watch out for
international
those Ruth
traffic.
Koreans. Hey, watch out for the Ruth Koreans. They're the professional at shooting black people. I heard.
I was there in Korea when they opened up a Texas Roadhouse. It was
They're gonna get
delicious.
fat now.
I got the big old margarita bowl. Like, ooh, this is delicious. I didn't feel good the next day.
Of course you would.
It was worth it.
Okay, let's go back to the topic, I guess. But would anyone really care about
You
what
can't
anyone?
just transition back to the topic. We need to
What-
talk about the margarita bowl.
Nah, would anyone really care?
I mean, no,
about
fuck
someone
that.
else's
So when
opinion?
it comes to the margarita bowl, right? I had 3 of those. All right, 3 margarita bowls, and back in tech, and we had nothing but Korean waitresses. Korean, because I guess that they employ people from within the area, and they fucked up my steak. I would never forgive them. Ever. How do you fuck up a ribeye? How? They put the steak on that. Then they put the steak on the stove for like a minute tops, and it was completely raw in the middle. I'm like, what the fuck? But I did fuck a couple of the waitresses there. It's just fun fact. But back to the topic. Carry on. Real talk.
Yo.
Did you like the story that I said?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. Did you ever dabble into any Czechoslovakian women?
I tried to. I was in Thailand. I tried to. I did see a bunch of Russian and Czechoslovakian women over there. I did. And
Yeah, they're
holy
goddesses.
fuck.
Oh, they're
Wow.
incredible.
Wow. But we had to hurry up and go back to base. I was like, fuck, like, don't get me wrong, like, we definitely interacted with each other, and only the fact that I'm able to approach them and be able to have a friendly conversation compared to the women in the US, that says a lot. Would you say that, real talk?
Yeah. I haven't been overseas in a while, and I'd like to before the American version of feminism infects every piece of this globe, and I just want to experience being the celebrity. Not to say that I haven't had a few girls on my jock from time to time, but overseas it's the other way around. Like it's how it's supposed to be, where it's not just dominated through a feminazis more or less. So yeah, that experience. I do want to ask though, those Korean chicks, were they more busty or did they have fatter asses? The ones that they hired to attract customers' eyes.
There are more busty, but overall, I would say that they were very fit. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't really have most of them didn't really have a busty ass or a busty chest area, but they were fit, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, okay, because we definitely don't have that, and at least in America anymore, we don't have that at all. Majority of our women are obese as fuck. They are like, what the fuck? There's no way that I'm definitely going to associate with that. No way.
Interesting
But-
thing in the chat. Yeet, maybe you want to check this. So
This
Samantha
one?
P. Feminism doesn't need all men on Earth. They only need 10 to 15%.
Great.
I'd
Hold
say
up.
that
Before you start, Samantha P. Cap. All right.
Yeah,
go
I'd
ahead.
say that entirely depends on what percentage of the. I think it depends on how much of the female population they want to keep around, because you are not going to sustain 100% of the existing female population on 10 to 15% of the existing male population. Like we're
They
productive,
really
but we're not
believe-
that productive.
So, do you really believe that men 10 to 15%? Are you, Samantha? Come on. Do you want us to spill the facts right now? Samantha, go ahead and put in the comments below. Go ahead and put in the chat, and we will give you all the facts you need on why you would not survive without us. Are you wrong? Am I wrong, gentlemen? Because I'm definitely ready to go off. She only needs 10 to 15% of men. Are you fucking kidding me?
Women are not going to. Women won't be able to fill those roles.
But are
Yeah,
you talking about
that's
all men in
why-
general? For what reason? Like,
Yeah, she said all men on Earth.
10 to
All men on
15%.
Earth.
Is she talking about like reproduction? Like, yeah, that makes sense. We're talking about reproduction.
But that's the thing. But like, it doesn't matter. Okay, maybe fucking reproduction, but you still need men to keep the power on and the roads repaired and all the fucking infrastructure and maintenance of society, run every business, move all your logistics around. I mean,
Oh,
shit,
hold
if you
up.
just cut
Wait,
the
Trey, you got a response. I mean, currently, if you can't get men to work together at nearly 100% under the current landscape to control the laws for all of time. Okay, wait. Samantha, come on. Samantha, what the fuck? Samantha, what is this? What do you mean get men to work together at nearly 100%? So you want us to be slaves? What's up?
Wait. 10 to
No,
50%.
Because the men that actually build and maintain this society, that's a shit ton of men. That's way above 10 to 50%. I really okay.
Or is she saying that that feminism only needs 10 to 15% of the male population to agree with it?
Go ahead and give me your answer.
Like that's the thing. She is not very good at expressing the thoughts in a coherent manner.
Oh, she says, "I know I wouldn't survive without men. I'm not a feminist." Hmm. Hmm.
But that's the thing, but
Basically,
like if feminism did not best thing, but if feminism did not have support for the majority of men, like you kind of need the majority of men to be supporting feminism, or at least the majority of the men in power. Like if 85% of men outright opposed feminism, you would not have a feminist society.
Oh, so she means voting. I mean voting. Without having gentlemen work together at nearly 100%, there's almost no hope on changing the laws in this current landscape. See,
So what way?
nobody. Okay, okay. Let me say this right now. Nobody is forcing women to vote who they should vote for, besides other women. Okay, you can easily vote for things to the point where you guys don't have to worry about all the craziness that's happening today. But no, you guys deal with that hive mind mentality. You guys deal with that peer pressure to vote. And I'm just saying as a scenario, vote for a senile man in the president's office. You guys voted for a senile man.
Hey, stop talking about Donald Trump like that.
How dare you?
You know, and beyond that, women are the majority of voters. Men could 100% vote one way. If women 100% voted the other way, the females would get what they wanted.
Exactly. Nobody told you guys, oh, you guys need to vote for this, vote for that, blah, blah. No. The major power in politics today is from women. They vote for the last 20 years, 20, on who they want to be within the president's office, Congress, representatives, etc. And guess what you guys put us right now in 2022? At the brink of World War III.
Well,
Woo,
then the
World
other
War
thing,
III.
like since criminals often have their voting privileges taken away and men don't have the fallback, and men are actually held accountable for their crimes, like even if population wise, like men did outnumber women, which they don't, because men's voting rights are taken away from them at a higher rate than women, there's still a smaller portion of the valid voting population of men,
But you
regardless
know
of
how
actual
men,
population numbers.
but you know how much men gave up faith in voting in the first place? They gave up the faith. Like, what's the point of me voting at this? Like, what's the point?
I think there's a huge emphasis on voting, and everyone loves to use this voting argument. But let's talk about the money controllers. And I'm not even going to say the
Real
big
talk.
time family. Go ahead.
Your mic is sounding weird.
He
Now I'm
sounded
driving this
1950s.
stupid sports car. I'm going to be parked in about 5 minutes. I'll elaborate, but you guys continue. Keep it on the voting aspect.
Okay. When it comes to voting, women have the majority of power. It is what it is. And when it comes to voting, right, I have a biggest issue when it comes to voting. Because if you want to vote, and voting is a powerful tool. Do you guys agree? Voting is a powerful tool to the point where you will have to be willing to fight and die for the power to vote and own land. That's how it was over 100 years ago. But now women are able to vote, but they don't have to be drafted into war to fight for that right.
And remember, it's not about who votes, it's about who counts the votes.
Be right back. Continue, Gray.
Because that's the other thing. Like, from what there was definitely a bunch of shenanigans with the most recent U.S. election.
Even if we're not talking about the most recent one, throughout history, there's been shenanigans. I
Yeah,
think
that's the
like
thing.
the war, the votes after the Civil War, there was shenanigans happening a lot because they didn't want a president from the South at the time because they were trying to rebuild the connections. So they kind of did something there to make a president from the North, and so on. And since then, shit's
That's the
just
thing.
been going crazy.
That's the thing. It's questionable how much voting actually has a say in the outcome of the vote. And there's been shenanigans for a long time. You can point to a bunch of different examples. So beyond, but what voting is useful for is it gives the illusion of consent. It prevents rebellion by making people think like, oh well, I didn't vote for it, but you gotta trust the system and they were voted in, so I guess I'll deal with it. And I'll just try extra hard to vote them out next time. It's like you're trying to win a race and you keep getting shot in the leg. And rather than go after the person who keeps shooting you in the leg, you just think you need to do a couple extra squats each year.
Yeah, which just doesn't make sense. And even still, like, even if they didn't count the votes or the people, there want more people that vote for dumb shit. The people that you pick when you vote are selected already. So it was like, well, you get to choose out of this select people. Can I choose this person? No, they're not in the roster of people that you can select. So it was like,
no, and there was even an example where the representative for the political party I wanted to vote for in one of the previous election cycles, at the last minute, they mysteriously withdrew for personal reasons. So I didn't even get the option of voting for who I wanted to.
yeah. So it's like, you can't vote for anyone. There's like select people. I think there was like people like you don't really have democracy. You have select people that you are allowed to vote in. Just like China, America is no different from China. Neither is England. Every country's like, oh, we care about democracy. Democracy is a fucking lie. There's select people that you can vote for, and they're selected by people in power that you don't know about because it's like, well, you don't want to know about the people that are fucking you over because if I knew who was fucking me over, I want to get his head on a plate. So they hide away from you, and they select people that can get the power. Sometimes they select people, but people go rogue like Trump. I believe Trump went rogue to a certain degree, but he was also controllable in other aspects. And that's why when they found out like Trump went a little bit too rogue, they tried to tighten up corners so shit like that didn't happen in the end. They clearly said they don't want anyone like Trump becoming president again after like 2016.
Oh, because a bunch of mean tweets, right?
Oh no. They didn't want him. I think they wanted him to be like a heel. Trump was supposed to be the heel to Hillary Clinton's babyface, and they didn't expect people to actually vote like they did.
Well, because they also went against the narrative that they were crafting.
True, but what I'm saying is the reason why Sleepy Joe's in office right now is because of a few mean tweets.
Well, that's not just all of it. You could say that, but that's like
it's a big factor.
Yeah, that's a big factor, but it's also because people were told that the 2020 pandemic was because of him, and all the people that died were because of him. Even though at that time,
I can say that even though he was a fucking idiot on that one, which I agree. And once again, use code words if you want to use that thing.
I didn't say what it was.
No. I'm just saying, everybody.
Yeah, I know. I've been on YouTube. I know what the code was.
Shit, a lot of people don't know for some fucking reason when they hit my goddamn live stream. I'm like, you stupid fuck.
Like, I know, like, we're gonna talk about. No, you just say, what were we talking about again? But yeah.
But what I'm saying is, when it comes to president, I'd rather deal with a few mean tweets than that guy that's offering $33 billion right now to send to Ukraine. What the fuck?
Yeah, but you're the minority of voters, and you also don't get all your news from the talkie box. So
All I'm saying is the fact that he's sending close to $40 billion worth of aid to Ukraine, even though that there's a shit ton of people who are homeless, veterans who are homeless, a shit ton of people that are dealing with some type of financial issues when it comes to inflation. Sleepy Joe is the worst president in history.
And he's got to pay for his son's little ladyboy hookers somehow.
I hope he gets caught too. I hope that something happens to him, because if it doesn't, holy fuck. Like it is once again, like I posted something a week ago, 2 weeks ago. We are living in the twilight zone.
This is the point that I wanted to make in regarding to laws. Women having power to vote, women having power to make decisions through laws and whatnot. There's a quote by Mayor Amschel R. Child. I'm not going to say the full name. And this is the founder of that whole dynasty of financial manipulation. Let's just call that the banking sector. Give me control of a nation's money supply, and I care not who makes its laws. So this is my position. I do not think the laws are the meat and potatoes. I think the laws are the cherry on top. But I think the meat and potatoes is those who control our culture through consumerism, and those who accentuate the creature's worldly nature, giving them more outlets to be worldly through these type of people who control, the nation's money supply. They don't give a fuck about who's writing the laws, because if you can control the culture and the worldliness of said culture, then those creatures, like, their voting is just the cherry on top. But what makes them monsters? I think it's these people who have nefarious plans, these elite class, these bankers who, like, as this individual saying, I mean, he's a very powerful individual, but he said this many, many years, at least 75 years, I think this statement was said prior to the 19th. So it's just a food for thought. We do beat the drum of laws, but what actually turns these creatures into the monsters that they are today, with the consumerism, trying to outcompete in the hive mind? I think the consumeristic fashion in which these creatures are dominated, their worldliness, I feel like that's a huge part. I think that's the meat and potatoes of making them ready to jump ship, ready to divorce. The laws are just that, like I said, the cherry on top of the sundae. What do you guys think of that?
Well, laws
Because,
are based off cultures.
And one last point, the R. Child family is who bailed out Donald Trump for close to $4 billion in the 90s when his Taj Mahal went bankrupt, and he personally went bankrupt. But I just had to throw that out there because
Is
it's
that
kind
the
of connected.
same one where he tried to host a Mike Tyson fight?
Was that when he had his casino? Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that at all.
Yeah, he was bailed out by Wilbur Ross, who was an R. Child. I'm not going to say the full name. An R. Child banking agent. He came and bailed out Trump in the 90s, and his word for word was, the Trump name is worth saving. Who turns out to be Trump's Secretary of Commerce? The same Wilbur Ross who bailed him out in the 90s. I mean, you couldn't make this shit up, but I just thought it was crazy that this quote from Mayor Amschel R. Child is kind of connected to Donald Trump, because that's the family who literally bailed him out. But your guys' position on what I originally said about the worldliness and those who control the money supply, kind of pushing the culture in that fashion.
Well, the culture right now that we have is just to live by your base instincts. We don't really tell people, we don't hold people to standards. We don't actually critique people besides men or people that they don't like, that people that go against their wills and their desires. It's like a child. Like, children get upset and throw tantrums when you say they can't have certain items that they enjoy. So let's say as a child where your parents said you can't have a sweet, normally you get upset. But if you were always pampered and you told you couldn't have that, you would go into a frenzy or like panic attack or some shit like that. So that's what, like, people aren't raised to be adults technically in a certain sense. They're not raised to be adults, people that can think for themselves, people that can measure up and scale their consequences for their actions. So right now we have adults and children, well, children and adults' bodies, and it's like fucked up. But it's like that's what most people are. They don't think about the future. They don't even think about a few seconds after. They just think about the now. And that's what they keep on doing. They keep on doing it. And right now, most people are just animals in bodies of humans. So that, like, does an animal care if they harm another creature for their food? Would an animal care if they kill their children? Like, rabbits kill their children if they get frustrated.
Nope.
So that, like, it's not surprising that the more that we take away, what makes a human is not biological in my eyes, because
Humans are always biological.
not in my eyes. You could be a human
Wait.
creature.
What do you mean, not in your eyes?
So you could be a humanoid creature in my eyes. Yeah, I'm gonna go into that. You could be a humanoid creature in my eyes, just like a Neanderthal and so on. But if you do not hold certain values for yourself, if you go around and do horrendous crimes, act like an animal, then you are an animal. A human in my eyes is a person that can think for the future, does not act on base emotions straight away, and can actually, like, say, I have feel this type of way, but I will not act on my emotions right away because my emotions are not going to benefit me, benefit the people around me, and it's not generally productive in the future. It's like, let's say this, I do an action, it's detrimental to me and the people around me, but in the future, it will have much more benefits than now. That is kind of like, okay, that's a situation like, okay, he did that thinking of the future, so I will allow that to slip. But let's say this, someone that just has lust is technically an animal in my eyes if they go around and force themselves upon people for any reason, because just like an animal, when they feel lost, they just force themselves upon any creature, like otters.
Humans are not classified as animals?
No, humans that don't act with dignity and thought process aren't like animals. They're just like chimpanzees to a certain degree.
So are you talking about less intellectual animals?
No, you don't have to be smart. You just have to think to a certain degree. Like, don't act on your emotions straight away as soon as you feel it. Don't act on based instincts just because, oh, I felt good at the time. Oh, I felt this, so I did this. If you're just doing that, then what's the difference between you and an animal at that point?
So you believe that animals are just creatures that act upon basic instincts?
Yeah. What already separates a human from an animal?
Well,
nothing
nothing really besides intelligence. What do you have to say about that, Gray?
Well, the line gets kind of fuzzy specifically because it used to be we used tool. He said tool usage was what separated us, and then we found a whole bunch of animals making tools. If you're going to ascribe something to logical processes, it's entirely possible that there's some birds that would fit your qualifications. So,
oh, I can see that means that in that sense, I see birds more humans than people in prison that do horrendous crimes to children.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain, like, humanity. I say humanity and being a human. I guess you can be a human in my eyes, but you don't have certain humanity. So that would be best way to say it.
Yeah, technically, but through behavior, you're something else.
So when it comes to the topic overall, right? How do you guys feel about the fact that Western women, modern women, when they approach you, whatever it is, whatever it's just a date or a hookup, whatever it is, she always explains about what she wants, but she never bothers to ask what you want.
I've just accepted that that's what they are.
Okay.
Yeah, even my father turned around and said it's very once.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I just touched on the solipsistic nature of the creature earlier. She can't really care about your thoughts, feelings, or emotions or positions really on anything, because if it does not have an immediate and tangible benefit to her self-worship, because she is a god in this day and age, then it's useless. That's why it's always about what she wants, because there's nothing else that can exist to such a solipsistic creature. When you do look at yourself as a god, but basically these creatures look at themselves as gods, but they don't have to have the accountability or responsibility of God. Just think about going around as God without having any accountability or responsibility for your creation.
So does a god have to have responsibility or accountability for the creation?
Yeah, I mean, God had whoever this force of nature is, whatever put us here, he had to, or I keep saying this entity had to procure this planet. He couldn't have, and I keep saying you guys know what I'm saying. This particular being couldn't have just made this planet like Mars. It had to have a specific purpose. So when I say God is responsible, yeah, God's responsible for everything in kind of like a divine fashion.
Carry on. What do you have to say to the chat?
The reason why women are like this today is because most of them have not been taught correctly by people around them. They have seen people abuse other people, seen people use other people. This is natural to them. This is what their environments have been. This is what we have been promoting over decades. If you watch the media that we watch, we've seen women abusing men, men being dumb, men being animalistic, men being violent, men being subhumans. That's what they've been promoting to us. So since they always had this embodied into themselves and the idea of get what you want, don't care about other people, be as brutal and savage as possible, because these, seeing this, you had that idea mixed with the idea that men are sub-creatures. So put those together, why should I care about this sub-creature? I'm trying to get what I want so I can benefit myself, so I can feel good. That's what is really plaguing society right now.
I would agree with that as well, because imagine the girls, right? Like they're listening to their instincts. So back in the day, they used to be able to control that to a certain degree with good mentorship.
I'm gonna stop you right now. Carry on. Thank you for joining, man.
Yeah,
Under Chronic, he's here right now, so I'm gonna have to let him on.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I gotta get going as well, Yeetus. I appreciate you having me on.
No problem, man. Both of you, peace out.
Yeah, see ya.
Definitely have a good night.
Punity.
All right, okay. Let me invite the one, the only Undead Chronic.
I have one instinct, one calling. To roast some roach pussy!
Jesus Christ, man. You woke up and chose violence.
I can't stand these limp-wristed failed chemo experiments masquerading on YouTube as if they get fucking pussy without paying for it.
I saw that cringe video, man. I was cringing so hard. I was having muscle spasms.
Me and Hammerhand went through his announcement video, a different one, and then went to his page where he tries to get you to sign up. This guy is charging you $800 for tips for your Instagram.
800?
But whoa. It's a $10,000 worth of value. So it's really a deal.
What the fuck?
That's a person's entire month's wage.
Do you know who buys? Do you know who buys Instagram tips, Yeetus?
Who does?
Bitches, actual women, ovary wielders. I guess femboys. But you know who sells it? The same type of people. Bitches, ovary wielders, femboys. So modern life dating, which one are you? Are you a transformer Are you a femboy? Or, and this is what I really think you are you just a little bitch?
I try to forget that trailer, not gonna lie.
He's gonna be sleep in the middle of the night, and you're gonna have a nightmare. Some chubby dude with his belly sticking out of his leather coat. He opens up some duct tape. You're like, no, my back breaks instantly. Snap! Ah!
He doesn't even have original fucking content. You can clear that he ripped off of as many fucking movies he can possibly get.
It's like a human centipede of all the dating roaches, but they're attached in a circle, and they just shit in each other's mouth. Basically what their brand is.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah, Yeetus, I'll get you the bleach for that mental image.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
I came on this stream to traumatize Yeetus, guys.
But it is something that unfortunately Under Chronic has to deal with because he's the big dog. He's the one that pretty much gets most of the haters. But as you can see, he's not faltering whatsoever. In fact, he is close to 50K.
There's two instances in which we use the flamethrowers, Yeetus, right?
You right?
First instance is a little simpoid walks into the Warband swamps and he steps on a trap to try to roast us, and they get destroyed. But the other instance is when Chronic, Yeetus, Manic, and Ruby get on the Hueys. And we go to them, and they're just like living in La La Land, like, I get puniti, and they're tying daisy chains around their gonads. Putting that shit into a barbecue, bro. From the Huey, Chronic's like attached to a rope with two flamethrowers. Of course, Ribby's driving the Huey drunk, so I'm like about to hit the ground. I'm like, damn it, Ribby.
Well, what about you, producer Tim?
Puniti.
Hey, producer Tim, would you pay $800 to get your Instagram game up?
$800? Is that it? Man,
Well, usually
I could get 2 Instagrams for that.
It's $10,000 in value, though, so it's a deal.
Of course. Why wouldn't I take that deal? Like, I can imagine, like, Undead Chronic is up. You know, he's the banker in what is that game show? What the fuck was that game show called where you like make a deal?
Deal or no deal.
Howie Mandel.
Deal or no deal.
Deal or no deal. Yeah. I can imagine Chronic is the banker and he's just smoking his fat doobie up there. And then he's like, $800. I can make your Instagram. I'll make it the best Instagram in the world. He would be doing his Trump voice too. I can see this.
It's just a pile of cash, and modern life dating is just, I'm just like, take a shirtless pic and post it on your YouTube community tab because you say you have a body everybody wants, and then I'll give you $8 million. He's like, oh, okay. He does it. Everybody roasts him. Carl's like, good. The money's yours. Throws a blunt behind him, lights all the money up.
He's like, I don't even need money. This is the only green I care about, as he just takes a fat rip.
Oh, yes. Well, I got to go. I just wanted to traumatize Yeetus with some visual metaphors here.
Yo, Chronic, you got to get you and Drex back on together sometime.
Yeah, we can co-stream it. That'd be fun. But I'll hit you up later, Tim. You're on the Discord, right? Are you on Discord?
Oh, yeah, I'm on Discord.
I'll hit you up on Discord, man. Peace,
awesome.
Guys.
Yeah, I can't stay too long. Drex is about to do a fucking... I guess he's doing like a Do You Remember the Good Old Days of Gaming show.
It's all good, man. I'm about to end this stream anyway. Do you want to show your channel, though? Like, you want to have people
absolutely.
join your... Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, you can find me and Drexel over at the MGTOWN Podcast, youtube.com/MGTOWN Podcast. You can also find us over on the MGTOWN Arcade. That's where we do our gaming-based content. Albeit we don't do a whole lot there. We have one of the funniest Cards Against Humanity streams you'll ever see. But that's youtube.com/MGTOWN Arcade. God damn it. Don't fucking interrupt me while I'm fucking chilling my shit, man.
No, bullshit. You know I'm going to be there.
But yeah, if you want to come and talk about gaming, Drex is going live in like 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'll send you the link.
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely. And of course, you can also find Drex if you want to support his content. You can find him on Patreon, Subscribestar, Locals, all under the MGTOWN Podcast brand. Until next time, everyone, stay frosty.
All right, man. Yeah. Peace out.
Well, I got no channel to show, so peace out, everyone, and puniti.
Puniti.
Unity.
So, even though the majority of the majority of this live stream was pretty off topic, I'm pretty sure you guys know that what we're talking about when it comes to women. They don't really want to know what men want, but she definitely knows the 100 list, like the 100 points that she wants a man, right? And the fact that I made this not live stream, the shorts yesterday, the short of the woman that, no man is good for me. See, they're gonna learn the hard way when they hit the wall, and the men that she was originally chasing to, they're not even trying to look her way anymore. They're just gonna be looking for the younger, fresher model.
Yeah, like, you know
sorry.
that if Leonardo DiCaprio smiled at her, she'd be on her knees in 2 seconds.
Oh, immediately. Like, I'm sorry, if Leonardo DiCaprio came by and I had my girl with me, that there's literally no way, in the sense of, if she goes with Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm not gonna fight about it. Fuck that.
Honestly, you could be like, "Hey, thanks, man. Like, now I know she's for the streets." It
She's
saves me
for
the
the
trouble.
streets. But this is Sir Yeetus. Hopefully, you guys had your daily gems. You know, we dropped some good shit on you. And I am definitely out. We are out. Peace.
Peace out, Warband.